dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight. Peacemakers gaming light so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace. Speed hounds in grace. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam. Racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might. Push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight. Racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night. NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight. Peacemakers gaming light so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace. Speed hounds in grace. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Thrill the place. Thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high-octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high-octane haste. In this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam. Racers' hearts with fervor gleam.
Oh! Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here on the evening. What's good, Victor? Mr. Ferguson coming in, showing the love. How are you, Victor? Victor coming in with the like on the stream says, what's up? What's up, Victor? How are you? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Tuesday afternoon. As the racing action is about to get underway here from the beautiful Indianapolis Motor Speedway, here for the Michaels Warrior Project Truck Series this afternoon. We are live from the beautiful Indy. Someone's gonna kiss the bricks here this afternoon. Such an amazing, historic facility here for these drivers to go to battle here this afternoon. We're gonna have a great lineup of drivers here ready to play, ready to battle here this evening. We're looking at least 20 plus drivers loaded into the sim, each and every single one of them looking for a win here this afternoon. You do see Michael Madden out there on the racetrack right now. He's going to get his qualifying effort in as he's looking to lay down a quick time as qualifying slowly but surely coming to a close. Here drivers just about to get done their qualifying effort here this afternoon. We got about a minute left, so we're going to see these drivers hop out there. A couple drivers left to kind of get their qualifying in. Right now it's Chris Gilbert with the quick time here in qualifying. Nicholas Snyder in position number 2. Kevin Winker, Brandon DeMeng, and Nathan Nixon right now sit inside our top 5. Then we see Jacob Grube, Jason LePan, Nick Gardner, Robert Blair, and Austin Gustafson rounding out our top 10 here on the speed chart. But we're waiting, seeing if this 15 ride can lock himself into a better starting spot. Currently right now he's etched in the 20th position down across the line. We'll see if Madden found a little extra speed here. He's going to jump into the 11th spot, so gains a little bit right there. A bit of a good run for the number 15. Start just outside the top 10 here this afternoon as we'll get these drivers locked in, ready to roll here this afternoon. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a good time. As Javen coming in, showing the love with that follow as well over on Twitch. Welcome to the Peacemaker family. Welcome to the Peacemaker crew coming in with that follow as well. As we're going to get these drivers loaded into the sim. Each and every one of them are going to be looking for the win here this afternoon, as they're going to be jumping out onto the racetrack here for our pre-race festivities, and they're going to get ready to start to roll out and onto the speedway. You see Indianapolis off and in the background here at the beautiful Indianapolis Motor Speedway, just a few miles outside of that downtown sector, and these cats, they are ready to put on a show for all of the Indy fans here this evening. Bobby Blair, what's good? Bobby Blair coming in with the like on the stream tower operator coming in as well. Mr. Muleburger says hashtag Winker Nation. How are you, Bruce? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day today, coming in showing the big love here in this one, as we're going to get these drivers ready to rock and roll, ready to battle here in this one. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a good time here this afternoon. We got a lot of drivers, a lot of fast cats, and 75 laps of racing action to go to battle here to see who can put themselves in to victory lane here at the Brickyard. So as these drivers get loaded in on the front straightaway, we'll go through our top drivers here for qualifying. There you go. There's our pole sitter, the 45 ride, the Jegs machine. That is Chris Gilbert. Gilbert will start here in that pole position. To his outside in the HendrickCars.com number 5, that is Nicholas Snyder. Starting in position number 3 in the Muleburger Custom Home Sonic Graphic Designs, the Winker Nation number 42, that is Kevin Winker. There in that third spot. To his outside in the Ghost Energy number 77, that is Brandon Neming. Starting in position number 5 on the racetrack in the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC, the Vesta number 33 machine is Nathan Nixon. To his outside in the Michaels Warrior Project number 18, that is Jacob Grube. And down on the inside, a row number 4, it's his teammate there, the 20 ride, that is Jason LePan in the other Michaels Warrior Project ride. To his outside in the Napa Auto Parts number 16, that is Nick Gardner. And down on the inside, a row number 5 is the Ridge Powersports KR Gutters number 75 ride of Robert Blair. To his outside in the Arnold Palmer half and a half number 9 machine, that is Austin Gustafson. Starting in position number 11 in the number 2 ride is Daniel Down. To his outside is the 7 ride of Brett Summers. Then we see the 28 in the Helmeline ride, that is Dennis Steele there in 13th. His outside in the number 41, that is Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, and then we'll see the 87 of Jonathan Herbert. To Herbert's outside will be the 51 of Brian Chu, and then we see the number 29, that is Sean Jensen. To his outside in the OSOCOutdoors.com number 26, it is Neil Lapidus, who will start in position number 20 on the racetrack. Then we see Kyle Van Tassel, Jeremy Lucy, Michael Madden starting down pit side, and same with Gregory Turner's. Unfortunately here, Madden was he was etched to start in the 11th position, but now going to be starting all the way back here on pit road. So a definite start, bad start here for that number 15 machine. Definitely not the way he wanted things to get underway here in this one, as these drivers going to get ready to play here this afternoon. Is Johnny Thunders, my boy Johnny, coming in, making a little lightning here, because there's some thunder that follows it. It's Johnny Thunders coming in with the big love here with the like on the stream. How are you, brother? How you doing this evening? As these drivers ready to rock and roll, they are ready to go to battle here this afternoon. Is Chris Gilbert and Nicholas Snyder on the front row. The lights are off, the official iRacing pace car, and we're going to get ready to set these drivers loose for our main feature event. 75 laps of racing action here in this one. Drivers down the front straightaway, they will be released. Our flagman is down through the Geico restart zone. They will see that green flag fly, and we are quickly gonna go green flag racing here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is Indy here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as quickly Chris Gilbert out in front, but Nicholas Snyder staying right there to his outside. Snyder not giving an inch there to the outside lane as they go door to door out at corner number 2. They'll drag race down the back straightaway here in Indy as you do see the 42 of Kevin Winker trying to get a run, maybe try to help push this 45 right down into corner number 3. Looks like Gilbert's going to get a great entry right there. The 5 right going to look to see if he can cut down underneath him. Couldn't quite make that move, so it is the 45 right of Chris Gilbert out in front down into corner number 4 and down the front straightaway. Gilbert looking to pick up lap lead number 1 here on the evening, and he will do it. So Chris Gilbert leads the first lap here in Indy. What a run so far for all these drivers. A lot of good, clean, hard, respectful racing out there. Drivers a little bit too wide farther back. So you see Daniel Dow in the number 9 ride. We're side by side. Looks like Dow's going to take that spot away from Austin Gustafson. So move Dow now up into position number 5. So he's already on the move, up 4 spots early in this race. Now they can see machine. Some good moves, some good racing early on for that 2 ride as he continues to march his way to the front of the field. But what you gotta worry about is maybe using up those tires a little bit too much early on in this race. You want to be patient. You want to try to keep these tires underneath of you. Maybe try to save a little bit of fuel here and there out on the speedway to see if you can try to move yourself towards the front of the pack, as we do see Sean Jensick coming down pit side. Jensick down pit road here in the 29 ride. I'm not sure what's wrong with this 29 machine, but he is heading down pit road, and this is definitely not the way you want to start one of these races down on pit lane, as we do see Nicholas Snyder trying to hang on to position number 2 as he's had Nathan Nixon and Kevin Winker all over his back bumper teammates. They're the Rev Racing teammates going to get lined up down the back straightaway. They're going to try to push this number 33 into that second position, hoping that Winker can follow him right on through his door down in through quarter 3 and down into quarter number 4. Is this racetrack not quite built like any of the others? Such an historic racetrack, but it's had so many great, miraculous winners on it, and everybody wants to be down here on the front straightaway, kissing the bricks or drinking that milk up in the amazing lifted victory lane here this afternoon. As see Kevin Winker finally going to make that pass, but he's going to slide up the racetrack. Got in there a little bit too hot. Unfortunately, carrying too much momentum. That's going to launch him up the racetrack. Open that bottom lane back up for the 5 right of Nicholas Snyder. So he's going to cross him back over and jump back into position number 3. So Winker will stay there in that 4th position. Brandon to make back there in 5th with Jacob Grube in 6th in the AC. Nick Gardner, Daniel Dow, both trying to work their way towards the front of the field. Jason LePan back there in 9th, and Robert Blair rounding out our top 10. Brett Summers there in 11 with Nathaniel Ostrowitzki back there in 12. Dennis Steele, Brian Chu, and Jeremy Lucy, our top 15 here on the Speedway. Neil Lapidus up a couple spots early in this race. Looks like he's going to get up and tank that outside wall just ever so slightly. A tough break right there for the OSuckOutdoors.com ride as he gets up, takes a piece of that outside fence with him, and we're going to keep it clean and green. Just keeps that truck pointing in the right direction. Unfortunately, handling a little off early on here for that number 26, and handling off a little bit right there as well for the 13 of Kyle Van Tassel. As Van Tassel got up into the outside fence there on the exit of corner number 1 as well. That's going to kill a lot of his momentum, and here comes that 469 rider Ryan Peterson. Peterson down low looking to try to work himself now into position number 18 on the speedway. That's going to move Van Tassel back there into the 19th spot as we do see Austin Gustafson, who unfortunately had to come down pit road as well. So Gustafson down pit side, an unscheduled trip down pit road, and Michael Madden also getting that pit road penalty here as well. So he came down pit side. He's actually taken his car off the racetrack. So Michael Madden and Sean Jensick have both left the racing surface as of right now. 2 tough competitors, 2 very fast race trucks. Unfortunately, not out there on the speedway, and Gregory Turner had to jump out there as well in the 69 HCK Beagles ride. So we're down to 20 drivers left out here on the speedway. So it's a 20-horse race out here on the track right now. Gustafson bringing up the rear of the field here, hoping to just keep himself on the lead lap before we see our first caution flag of the day, as he's about 20 seconds ahead of our race leaders, trying to keep it that gap and maybe trying to catch up to some of these other drivers near the rear of the field. But he's got a lot of ground to make up after having to make that pass-through penalty. Is Chris Gilbert, who started on the pole and has never looked back. Gilbert right now trying to be that reflection of perfection here this afternoon, but Nathan Nixon, Nicholas Snyder, Kevin Winker, and Brandon DeMay trying to hunt him down here in this one. As quickly see that number 2 right, Daniel Dow continues to work his way towards the front of the field. Now getting around Nick Gardner, now getting around Jacob Broom. And Daniel Dow up 7 spots early in this race. Right now, him and Jeremy Lucy both up 7 positions here on the Speedway. Both drivers working their way up through the field. Lucy back here in that 15th position. Daniel Dow back there in the 6th spot on the Speedway. So Lucy can definitely gain a lot more positions than what that 2 right can, but he's trying to hunt down the 77 of Brandon DeMay, trying to work himself early on in this race inside our top 5 out there on the Speedway. Yo, Black Phoenix, my boy Black Phoenix, 843 coming in, showing the big love with that like on the stream. How are you, Black Phoenix? How you doing today? Coming in, showing the love here in this one from the big love, as Janelle says, let's go Team HP Motorsports, hashtag Rich Powersports, and Kane Argo stands up in the chat. Rich Powersports and Kane Argo. Yes, ma'am. As definitely some great racing, though, early on in this one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, jump into the comments section right now. Let us know who you're cheering for. Let us know who you want to see up in victory lane, or let us know who you think is going to get the win here. Every single comment helps drive the stream to more and more people, so the more comments, the more people that will tune in and watch these broadcasts. And at the same point in time, every single like on the stream as well will also help, gain some engagement and draw in some algo to be able to push out to more and more people. So every single like, comment, share helps push the stream up to more and more viewers. As we do see that 77 rider Brandon make things get up into the outside fence. That open up the door there on the front straightaway for the 2 rider Daniel Dow to make his move and put himself up and into position number 5 on the Speedway. So Daniel Dow now into that 5th spot. Jeremy Lucy now up into 13th. So Lucy currently our hard charger up 9 positions on the racetrack. Daniel Dow early on up 8 spots here himself, but it's going to be a big question mark here for a lot of these drivers. How much tire wear are we going to have to worry about? When do we see that tire wear really start to come into effect here? Fuel mileage, for the most part, isn't normally a huge deal here for these drivers. Normally we see them go, a good distance. They either make a 2-stop style of a race or a 1-stop style of a race. So if we don't see an early caution flag here, I expect to see all these drivers probably make green flag pit stops around that lap 35-ish area, somewhere in there, maybe even lap 37, 38, 40. If they can make it that far on fuel, that's kind of where I'd expect these drivers to head down pit road and try to make that one and only pit stop here this afternoon. But we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out here in this one. They may only be able to make it 20 laps. We may see them have to come down pit road, 2, 3 times here this afternoon. We'll have to keep an eye on it and see really how long they can make it before they have to head down onto pit lane. As right now, Chris Gilbert out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one, showing these drivers how to just run some perfect laps out there on the Speedway, man. He's consistently fast, consistently putting up great lap times, and he isn't being able to run away with it, though. That's the big thing, and I think that pressure may slowly but surely start to eat away here at that 45 ride. Knowing that Nathan Nixon, Nicholas Snyder are right there chasing him down. They're not leaving his back bumper. They got a bit of a gap back to our 4th place driver Kevin Winker here. So Winker is about a 2.25 behind those top 3 competitors, but he's got about a 2.25 gap between himself and his Rev Racing teammate, the 2 of Daniel Dow. If they can kind of get together, maybe use a little bit of drafting help and try to work with each other to get closer and closer to that top 3 and make this a 5-truck race at the front of the field. As the main back there in 6, Nick Gardner there in 7. Jacob Groove there in position number 8 in the beautiful Michaels Warrior Project number 18. Ryan Groove looking for another good run here this afternoon as he works down on the inside here of Nick Gardner for the 7th spot on the speedway. So Gardner up through the middle lane, the non-preferred line around this beautiful racetrack. But you can still hang on pretty good here, and if you can run that outside lane pretty well and get that momentum that you're really looking for on the straightaways, you can run this racetrack a whole lot differently. But that inside lane is just oh so good. It's oh so powerful out there, and you're going to see that 18 right does make the pass there on the 16 down the back straightaway. It will use that momentum, the long straightaways here, to make that move and get around Nick Gardner. Robert Blair back there in 9th, and then we see the 18's teammate here, the 20 right, the other Michaels Warrior Project truck out there on the speedway. That is Jason LePan. They are rounding out our top 10 as Brett Summers and Jeremy Lucy round out our top 12 here on the racetrack. Nathaniel Ostrowiski in the Husqvarna number 41 ride. They're in the 13th spot with the Halloween number 28 of Dennis Steele back there in 14. The Dr. Electric ride of Brian Chu there in the 15th position, in the 15th spot with Jonathan Herbert. They're in 16th. Ryan Peterson, Kyle Van Tassel, Neil Lapidus, and Austin Gustafson rounding out our top 20. As Michael Madden, Sean Jensen, Gregory Turner all still down and off of the speedway. So a tough break for those 3 competitors early on in this race. But you do see the 9 run of Gustafson is going to catch up to Neil Lapidus here, and that's going to put Lapidus now back in the 20th position. You see quite a bit of right front damage here for that number 26 ride. So that's going to be very interesting. We also see Brett Summers making his way down pit road. So Summers, we normally see using a lot of different pitch strategy here compared to these other drivers. We've seen him time and time again make these extravagant moves, come down pit road quite a bit earlier than everybody else out there on the speedway. So already making this trip down onto pit road, trying to use up these tires, trying to make sure that he can use a little bit of a different strategy and do this short pit where he can get back out onto the racetrack, run a quicker lap basically than the other drivers, and what it'll do is it'll gain him all the ground that he may want out there on the racetrack. Now the big problem with that is if it continues to stay green and everything else, the later end of that run for him, he'll fall backwards and unfortunately lose a lot of spots towards the tail end of the run. As right now, he's trying to use it to his advantage. We'll see if anyone else comes down pit road. We did see Neil Lapidus, but Lapidus with that heavy right front damage here. We'll see if he's down pit road for an extended period of time or not. See if he gets this truck fixed up and kind of repaired here. Doesn't look like it. It looks like he's going to stay down pit road for an extended period of time in that OSuckOutdoors.com ride. So a tough break here is we can give you another look at the damage that we're talking about here on this number. This is a hard angle to get right here, Chad. This is a tough angle. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a right front angle. There you go. You see that right front fender completely tore off of this right now. They can't quite they can repair that. They gotta put a new fender on it. They gotta cut away a lot of the existing parts and try to get some of those screws out and everything else. And if there's any kind of right front suspension issues, they're gonna be looking at trying to repair that as well, because that tire could be towed in or towed out, could be out of line, which could really burn up that right front more and more and more with a unaligned front tire. So they're gonna be looking at trying to replace any of those broken parts, replace that fender, and trying to get this 26 ride, the Osuck Outdoors ride, back out there onto the speedway here for the remainder of this race. And that's a tough break here for the OSuckOutdoors.com ride as he's down pit side. As Sean Arita says, Winker Nation, let's see it parked in victory lane. Shauna cheered on Winker here this afternoon. Kevin Winker feeling all the love as he's currently in that 6th position out on the speedway, running in position number 6, strolling out there on the racetrack, but he's battling hard here with the 18 ride of Jacob Groove. So some of these drivers that we saw very, very fast early in this race He's starting to feel that little bit of pain. That tire wear really starting to come into play for a few more of these competitors. Those drivers that took it a little easier, kind of slid back a little bit there, are starting to work their way back up towards the front of the field, including that 18 ride of Jacob Grub's group. Now back into the 5th position here, up one spot from where he started, but the last couple of times by the start-finish line, he's been the fastest truck out there on the racetrack, so he continues to lay down some pretty good lap times, continuously finding some extra speed in that Michaels Warrior project. Number 18 machine has got Daniel down just in front of him. He's trying to close that gap and reel in this 2 ride, but a bigger gap all the way up to our 3rd place driver, the 33 of Nathan Nixon. As Nixon there in 3rd, we see the 5 ride, the beautiful HendrickCars.com machine of Nicholas Snyder there in 2nd, and Chris Gilbert out in front, continuing to lead the way here. The bow ties leading the pack here this afternoon as Chris Gilbert out in front looking for a big win here in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As the laps already start to click down here, we already see 18 laps up onto the board, so 17 laps of this race are done. We're working on the, 60 final laps of this race, inside 60 laps of this race left to go here, so it's going to be very, very interesting. This race is going to move on quickly, especially with, less and less caution flags. We see these drivers pretty stacked together at certain parts out there on the speedway right now. Once we see these green flag pit stops, it may really break things open here more and more and more. It may really make these drivers, really be separated out there. So you do see the 77 of Brandon DeMing now making the move underneath of this number 42 rider, Kevin Winker. So Winker continues to slide backwards here now into the 7th position as the 77 of Brandon DeMing moves in front of him. We also see Jacob Grub getting around that 2 ride of Daniel down. So Grub now up into position number 4. As tower operator says, Shauna, I just hope he finds the right pit stall. Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, pit road, I think, is going to be pretty hectic here this afternoon. I think we're going to see a lot of issues. It's a very, very long pit road. This is one of NASCAR's racetracks with the biggest pit stalls in it as well. So with the bigger pit stalls, the bigger pit lane, you can get a lot more drivers here onto the speedway with, I think there are over 50 different pit stalls here on the racetrack. So it's extended this pit road quite a bit. And it's a bit of a tough one. It's not too tough to get onto as it kind of levels out here out at corner number 4. See if we can give you a really good look right there. So you kind of come out of corner number 4, off the throttle, down low on the apron kind of deal, and then you just roll right there into your pit box. So we have seen a couple more drivers start to make those green flag pit stops. We do see Brian Chu has came down pit side. Same with Austin Gustafson in the 9 ride. And Kyle Van Tassel's been down pit side. We've seen him down pit road. We saw Neil Lapidus make his way down pit side, and he's just rolling back out there, unfortunately, down pit road for an extended period of time here in this 26 ride. So the OSOCOutdoors.com machine, unfortunately, down pit road for a little extended period of time, getting that right front fender and that right front suspension fixed up here. But good to see him back out there onto the racetrack now, just trying to keep that car out of more trouble there as got down into the grass on the apron at corner number 3, able to keep that truck going in the right direction and keep on rolling here. Now he's going to have to hope for a lot of other drivers to run into issues and multiple caution flags to try and work himself back onto the lead lap, but there's a lot of other drivers that are also going to need some caution flags to get back on the lead lap as well. As we do see Kevin Winker Nation making his way down pit road here. So Kevin Winker headed down pit lane. We'll see if he can work his way into the pit stall here. We'll see if he can time it right, get himself in there. He's searching, he's looking for his sign, he's looking for his pit stall. See if he can find it here on the racetrack. Here you go. You do see the sign up there, and he's gonna make it in. He's in there like Flynn, so he's in like Flynn down into his pit box. And first I thought he was going to miss it. Luckily enough, these pit boxes are absolutely massive, so he had lots of room, lots of time to get stopped and get himself into that pit box and keep on rolling out here onto the speedway. So a good break right there for Kevin Winker, not blowing his run down pit side here. As we do see more drivers now starting to head down pit road. Here comes Nathan Nixon, Daniel Dow, both down pit road here as well. So both of these competitors making their trip down onto pit lane. So we'll have to keep an eye where they kind of come out and see where some of these drivers that came down pit road early and see if they can make it into their pit stalls as well. But we'll see if these other drivers that came down early on, when you look at Brett Summers, when you look at, Brian Shuey even, or Kyle Van Tassel, Neil Lapidus coming down fairly early, especially Brett Summers came down on lap number 13. So that was quite a few laps ago. We're almost 10 laps into his run. We'll see if that can really leapfrog him, jump him forward of a lot of these other competitors out there on the racetrack with those newer tires. As we do see Daniel Dow and Nathan Nixon just coming back out onto the racetrack. Here comes Kevin Winker in the 42. We'll see if that pit stop helped him out a little bit, coming down just the lap earlier here. He's going to roll up to the 2 right and around the 2 of Daniel Down. Nathan Nixon about to come down the back straightaway here. Unfortunately, not going to have as much speed as Winker's going to have built up. We'll see if he can draw in to the back bumper of what was our 3rd place driver. Chris Gilbert now down pit lane. Same with the number 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder. Both of those drivers. So 5 ride maybe got in there a little too far, threw it in reverse. I think he still would have been good if he would have stayed where he was, but threw it in the reverse quickly right there, got it backed up a little bit more so the crew could go to work a little bit more, and unfortunately that's going to lose him a little time, but we do see possibly a pit road speeding penalty here on the 45 ride. Our race leader running into issues down on pit road. The crew has done the work. This car should be able to leave, but looks like maybe a pit road speeding penalty here for the 45 ride of Chris Gilbert, now parked down on pit road for an extended period of time, getting a hold here. And now I'm not sure what the penalty is here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for a speeding down pit road penalty, but we'll have to keep an eye on him when he can kind of come back out onto the racetrack. We do see a lot of other drivers starting to make their way down pit road here as well. We see a huge slew of drivers coming down pit road right now, but we do see that number 45 ride, unfortunately, still on pit road. This is a tough break. There you go. He finally gets loose here. Finally starts to roll back out onto the racetrack. There goes that 7 ride that we were talking about, Brett Summers. So this could potentially be a major hit here on this 45 ride, who was leading this race, had that mistake down pit side, and that one he may not be able to recover from. As now we do see Jacob Grube, Nick Gardner also coming down pit road, Jeremy Lucy back there in the 3rd position in the 77. We'll see if he comes down pit road or not, but it seems like drivers can't really stretch out their fuel past the 23-24 lap area. So we're really going to see a lot of drivers have to make at least 2, maybe 3 pit stops here this afternoon. I'm assuming 2. I guess 2 would probably get them towards 40 laps, 45 laps. And I'm thinking 3 pit stops here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make it even on 2 pit stops. Running only 23, 24 laps potentially for some of them. So this is going to be very interesting. This is going to be a 3 pit stop race if we stay clean and green. And, this is going to be wild. We already saw 1 driver running into issues with that pit road speeding penalty. And unfortunately for Chris Gilbert, that has him actually now a lap down here on the racetrack. So Chris Gilbert is a lap down to Brett Summers, but right behind him is this number 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder. So he virtually lost an entire lap out there on the speedway during that pit cycle. So Nicholas Snyder is in 2nd. Obviously, Brett Summers using that quick pit strategy, and this is going to be interesting to see how long he can keep himself out in front. Everyone else running quite a bit faster lap times than him, but we'll see if this kind of keeps him going for a little while. But we'll see him kind of back down pit road around lap 33, 35-ish area, somewhere in there. By the time we see the 7 ride have to come back down pit road, as he came down on lap 33. Everyone else back here behind him, like Nicholas Snyder, was on lap 22. Nathan Nixon came down on lap 21. Kevin Winker came down on lap number 20. Daniel Dow was lap 21, with Brian Chu came down on lap 18. So a lot of these drivers on varying different pit strategies, maybe trying to stay out a little longer here, a little longer there, to see if it can help them to the end here. Now, a couple drivers that could be close to make this on a 2-pit stop style of a race would be Jacob Grube and Nick Gardner. Both came down pit road on lap 24. But even then, that's going to bring them to maybe lap 48 the next time they're forced to come down pit road. Maybe they can stretch out this next tank of fuel to lap number 50-ish area where they can make another 25-lap run. But we didn't see any drivers go to lap 25 before coming down pit road. So I think we're going to see them have to make 3 pit stops no matter what here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to be very, very exciting. It's going to be very interesting to see how each and every one of these competitors will handle that pit road challenge. Obviously, we saw most drivers make it down into their pit box, not making any mistakes, but we do see some drivers that unfortunately did run into those mistakes in some costly ones. You do see Chris Gilbert has worked himself back around Brett Summers, and that has put him back onto the lead lap. So that's at least a good cause right now, where if the caution flag were to come out, he would at least still be on the lead lap in that 45 ride, even if he gets passed by some of these drivers towards the front of the field. It's a little while before he's going to be the next driver a lap down. Is 13 rides virtually a lap down to that 45 ride here on the Speedway. But he's actually stretching out his gap now between himself and the number 33 and Nathan Nixon. Nixon's at the front of the field here. The 5 of Nicholas Snyder there in second. Kevin Winker now in third as Brett Summers slides back to fourth. Daniel Dow there in fifth. Ryan Chu, Jacob Grube, Brandon DeMing, Nick Gardner, and Robert Blair round out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Jason LePan there in 11th with Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Jonathan Herbert, Dennis Steele, Ryan Peterson, Austin Gustafson, Chris Gilbert, Kyle Van Tassel, Jeremy Lucy, Neil Lapidus, our top 20 here on the Speedway. As we did see Jeremy Lucy come down pit road. I don't know if he may have gotten a pit road speeding penalty as well here, because he's now unfortunately a lap down. He was having a great run, had some great speed early in this race, and worked himself up 10, 11 positions, almost inside our top 10 in that first little bit of a run. So I think an issue for the 76 ride as well down on pit road. So that's 2 drivers, Chris Gilbert and Lucy, who have both ran into some problems out here on the Speedway. Some tough breaks out there for both drivers, and for other competitors that are already off of the racetrack running into early issues as well. As out in front is the Rev Racing Sparkle and Shine Anything EC, the Vestas number 33 rider Nathan Nixon. Nixon now leads the way with Nicholas Snyder there in position number 2. Kevin Winker there in third with Daniel Dow back in position number 4 as the 7 rider Brett Summers back in that 5th spot on the Speedway. And we see Brian Chu there in 6th with Jacob Grube, Brandon DeMing, Nick Garner, all right there stacked up on top of each other. A little bit of a gap back to our 10th place competitor, Bobby Blair. Bobby Blair there in that Ridge Powersports KR Gutters number 75 ride, rounding out the top 10 here on the Speedway as drivers trying to work their way around some of these other competitors. Some of these other competitors maybe trying to be a little bit more cautious here, maybe try to save a little extra fuel out there on the racetrack, but they are 3 wide battling here for the 7th spot on the Speedway as the 55 ride. Right there from you do see Nick Gardner going to get that inside lane. He's going to get the advantage down into 3, and he'll take both of those positions. He'll say thank you for the 2-for-1 drive down the back straightaway and into 3, and move himself now into position number 7 and try to go after the Dr. Electric number 51 Toyota. As Chu, unfortunately, quite a few laps later coming down pit road than those drivers back there behind him, and I think he's starting to feel that little bit of a pain here, that little bit of a gap, as we'll have to wait and see how long he'll be able to hang on. And it doesn't look like that much longer, as there you go. There goes that number 16 of Nick Gardner and the 77. Here goes the 18 of Jacob Gruber around the 51 ride. Brett Summers is the next sitting duck here on the racetrack as well. Last down pit road on lap 13. Most of these drivers back here behind him came down pit road about 10 laps after he did. So they got 10 lap better tires than the 7 ride, and they're going to close the gap here on Brett Summers in a quick hurry. They're going to reel into his back bumper and really start to make the moves. He's actually blinking down there, and there we go. We see him back out there onto the racetrack in the Boston Web Marketing ride. As you do see the 75 rider, Robert Blair. He's going to go around that 51 right now, and here you go, Nick Gardner going down low and around Brett Summers. So move Brett Summers now back into 6th, and he's about to lose another spot and slide back to 7th here in that 7 ride. And he's going to have to be careful as here comes a slew of other drivers on those fresher tires that are going to work right on around him here, especially down this back straightaway. So Brett Summers sliding backwards here. We'll have to wait and see if his strategy can work out here this afternoon, if that can put him into a good position on the speedway. And some great racing action here this afternoon. These drivers putting on a heck of a show and a heck of a race for us. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, just like Pearson just did. Pearson coming in, showing the big love, smashing that subscribe button, becoming a brand new member here on the Peacemaker family. Brand new member here on the channel, smashing that subscribe button. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker crank it up as we're rolling towards our halfway marker here in this one. We're going to crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. So crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite driver as we crank it up here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for all of our drivers. A beautiful crank it up session here from the beautiful Indianapolis Motor Speedway here on the afternoon. A great day here at the racetrack as drivers duking it out here on the Speedway as Kevin Winker currently trying to work his way up through the field. One of those drivers to come down pit road earlier than everybody else on lap number 37. We did see a few more drivers make their way down pit road around lap number 20 or 35 and 39, somewhere in that area. We're starting to see more and more drivers, including the 45 of Chris Gilbert, the 5 of Nicholas Snyder, who was our race leader, also down on pit road. But we see some other drivers that came down on pit road last on lap number 24. Now, I have a sneaky suspicion drivers like Nick Gardner, Jacob Grube, they're going to be trying to stretch out this field, trying to get as close as they can to lap number 50 and maybe beyond, where if they can make this on one less stop than everybody else, that could put them into a huge beneficiary to everything else, as all these other drivers coming down quite a bit earlier here. You know, lap 40, lap 43, a lot of these drivers coming down pit road to what could be a very early pit stop here on the afternoon. Now, Nick Gardner and Jacob Grube getting to that 24 lap area. If they can make it to lap number 50, you know, that would mean they only got to run another 25 lap run, where they might be able to make it here on that 2 pit stop strategy here, compared to everyone else making the 3 stop strategy, which could make them a ton of time out there on the racetrack and could potentially put them into victory lane. So we'll have to wait and see if Nick Gardner and this 18 ride of Jacob Grube stay out there a little bit longer here on this run. Robert Blair maybe on the same strategy, came down pit road on lap 23. Same with Jason LePan, Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Jonathan Herbert, and Ryan Peterson, and they're yet to come back down pit road. Peterson right now the 7th place driver, and our top 7 yet to come back down pit side for their 2nd pit stop here on the afternoon. So yet to come down pit road, where all these other drivers have already made that 2nd pit stop, including Kevin Winker back here in that 8th position, Nathan Nixon back here in 9th, Nicholas Snyder back there in the 10th position, and then we see Daniel Dow back there in 11th, Brandon Domingue, Brent Summers, Brian Shu, Dennis Steele, our top 15 out there on the racetrack. Austin Gustafson there in 16th, with Chris Gilbert back in 17th. I do believe, as of right now, Chris Gilbert is a lap down. He's a lap down even to a lot of our drivers that are already on that 2nd pit stop strategy. See Daniel Dow right there in front of him, Nathan, Nicholas Snyder there as well, just in front of that 45 right. Nathan Nixon a little farther up, same with that 42 of Kevin Winker. So, unfortunately for the 45, looks like he's starting to run out of time here after making that secondary pit stop. This time, though, no pit stop penalty for the 45 right, so that's a good break for him. But we do see more drivers headed down pit side here. So this is a lot of those drivers that were last down pit road on lap 23, now coming down pit road at lap number 46, just ending on lap 46. So looks like they're about to make it, 23 laps. So we'll have to wait and see, what the strategy is here for these drivers out there on the Speedway. Nick Gardner and Jacob Grube are going to be getting very close to having to come down pit road, but they are running quite a bit off the pace, trying to save as much fuel as possible, trying to maybe play the long game here on the fuel strategy, especially if we don't see a caution flag fly here over the next little while. This pit strategy may work out perfectly for them, as he's going to stay out for at least another lap. Same with Jacob Grube. Looks like Jonathan Herbert going to stay out a little longer here as well. He was last down on lap 23. Here he comes down pit road. So he can't stay out any longer. Same with Ryan Peterson. They're both going to make their way down pit side this time by. So both drivers coming down pit road as... Man, it's going to be wild to see whether or not Nick Gardner and Jacob Grube can make this work. If they can make it work, if they can have it, play out perfectly into their hands here this afternoon, could be a huge benefactor for them here in this one. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know, it looks like he's slowing up, and there you go. The 16, Nick Gardner, down pit road. This time we'll see if Jacob Grube stays out for another lap. It does look like Grube is going to stay out for at least another lap here on the Speedway. We do see Nick Gardner coming down pit road, going to forfeit that race lead back over to the 18 right of Jacob Grube. Grube going to try to stretch this out a little bit more, see if he can get a little closer to that lap 50 marker. He's got to make it all the way around to lap 75. You got to complete 75 laps if he gets to the start-finish line here this time. He'll complete lap number 49. So really, he's got to make it a lap and a half longer. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to or not. It's going to be very, very tight. It's going to be very interesting. You can see him way off the pace, letting all these drivers with the fresh tires go on by him here. So he's going to let them slip on by. He's still coasting out there on the racetrack. See if he comes down pit road this time. He may be forced to, man. That fuel has got to be running on fumes here, and you do see him kind of hanging down low. There you go. He's going to make that pit stop. So he may still be a lap or two short of being able to make this to the end. I don't know if he'll be able to or not. They're really going to have to stuff this truck full of fuel here on this pit stop. Make sure that it is completely topped up if he's going to try to stretch it to the end here on that next way around, as he's going to come down across the line right there. So that completes lap number 49 for the 18 ride. That means he's going to have to run virtually 26 laps on this next run, and no one's been able to run 26 laps yet. So I don't know if this is going to be a good move or a bad move. I'm not sure how this is going to play out for the 18, but we do know that Kevin Winker will consume this race lead. So Kevin Winker back out in front with fresher tires right here behind him. That is Nathan Nixon in the 33 ride. A little farther back, we see Daniel Dow there in position number 3, and Nicholas Snyder back here in position number 4. Now Snyder is 9 seconds back from Kevin Winker and Nathan Nixon. So not the best pit stop for the number 5 ride. They're down in during this green flag pit stop cycle. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe he's trying to play a little bit more strategy here himself. He's definitely off the pace more than our race leaders. So our race leaders currently right now, last time around, running 55.40, 55.70. We'll have to wait and see if this is just a game plan for that 5 ride. Maybe trying to stretch out that fuel a little bit more. Last time by was a 56.39, so he's about a second off the pace compared to our race leaders. Did come down pit road on lap 43, so I don't think he's going to be able to make it. I don't think there's a world where he makes it on fuel here and trying to save at all. I think the only driver that could really be in that play, that could use that to their advantage right now, is Jacob Grube, who came down pit road after lap 49. So it's going to be tough, chat. It's going to be very, very tough. I don't know. I think Grube now, I think, is the only driver that can really make it that far. Nick Gardner could have been close, but came down pit road on lap 48, so I think he's going to be a lap or two short easily. I think maybe 2 laps shy. I'm saying 25 is probably going to be the max, and I think that may mean that unfortunately for Jacob Grube, he may be about 1 lap short on fuel here this afternoon. We'll have to wait and see if he can make it to the end, if he can somehow, just coast a little bit more out there on the racetrack, because we do see Nicholas Snyder coming back down pit road. Okay, so Snyder coming back down pit side. Maybe this is a complete different strategy here. With 24 more laps left to go, he should be able to make it to the end now with this pit stop. Probably won't have to worry too much about fuel. I don't know if I would have waited another lap or two maybe just to be really on the safe side, but does come down. Looks like he's just going to get some fuel here. Nope, looks like he's getting tires as well. So this is an interesting call for the 5 ride to come down pit side here on this lap and then roll back out there onto the racetrack. So maybe trying to just pit earlier where everyone else may be pitting towards the end of their run. He's trying to pit now at the start of the run, maybe trying to use the fresh tires to his advantage early on, being able to run as fast laps as possible to really make up that gap where everyone else may be trying to save and everything else. And here you go, the 2 ride of Daniel Dow now down pit road as well. So maybe he saw that same strategy coming out of that number 5 ride and decided to hop on board here with it. So some interesting calls out here on the racetrack. These drivers, it's only been 10 laps or so since we saw them down on pit road, but now coming back down, trying to use a little bit of a different strategy here. Oh man, this is just going to make things more and more interesting, more and more intense, especially when we get down to the end of this race. So what drivers are going to be doing, what they're going to have to do to try to put themselves into victory lane here this evening. Now, we do see Dennis Steele down pit road as well in the 28 ride. We see Neil Lapidus in the OSOCOutdoors.com ride coming back down pit side as well. Looks like he's got some more front end damage here on this 26. Take a look at that left front. Last time we saw him down pit road, it was the right front that was tore apart. Now that left front tore apart here. So a couple tough hits this afternoon for the OSOC Outdoors number 26 ride of Neil Lapidus. And down pit side again, we'll see, I do see that car's getting worked on. The crew is going to work trying to get that car fixed up and back into one piece here again. So another extended trip down pit road trying to get this 26 ride repaired and back out there onto the speedway. So a tough break there for him. We'll see Dennis Steele down pit road for a bit of an extended trip there as well. So any of the strategy that he was using, unfortunately, may go out the window here. Oh, chat, this is gonna be a nail biter, I think, right down to the very end. And when you think of drivers that are trying to save fuel, trying to make it here at the end without having to come back down pit road. Now we do see Brad Summers starting to make his pit stop here as well. He was in about the 8th position, making that hard left-hand turn off of 4 and down pit road here for what could be his final pit stop here of the afternoon. But when you look at a driver like Jacob Grube, can Grube save that fuel? Can he save enough to make it this 26-lap run? We saw him run 25 laps last time and then have to come down pit side, so I think he's going to be a lap short. I'm not sure. Maybe he can make it 26. Maybe he just tests the water and sees if he can. Maybe trying to run out there and just save fuel extremely hard right now. Maybe have enough saved up for late in this race where you can run a little bit harder and try to keep all these other drivers back there behind you, because he's going to be getting chased down here by those guys that have came down pit road already for the 3rd time. When you look at Daniel Dow and Nicholas Snyder, those drivers that have made that 3rd pit stop, have the fresh tires and everything else, they're going to be trying to force the issue here with them, but really they only came down pit road about 2 or 3 laps after he did. So this strategy could be a big brain play for the number 18 ride. Could be a big brain play out there on the racetrack. Could potentially work himself into a fuel mileage game plan for a victory here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway's Nathan Nixon is our driver out in front. Nixon leads the way. Chris Gilbert right there behind him. Led a lot of the early portion of this race, has shown to have a lot of speed in this 45 ride. Unfortunately, he scored all the way back here in the 15th position after a pit road speeding penalty. Kind of has him trapped back here. Currently a lap down, but if he can find a way around our race leader, Nathan Nixon could potentially put himself back onto the lead lap, and just hoping for a caution flag. Even now, would love to see that yellow flag come out where he could get the wave around and back onto the lead lap here with all these other drivers. Kevin Winker back here in 2nd. Here's that 42 ride in that 2nd position. Brandon Ming a little farther back there in 3rd. Nick Gardner back there in the 4th spot with Jason LePan in position number 5. Robert Blair, Bobby Blair there in 6th, having himself a great run. Brian Chu back here in 7th. Jacob Grube back there in 8th. And then we see Nathaniel Ostrowiecki in the Husqvarna number 41 there in 9th. Jonathan Herbert back here rounding out our top 10 with Daniel Dow right there behind him. We have seen Dow make that 3rd pit stop there on lap number 52, so we'll have to wait and see if that works out for him. And he's got that extra little bit of fuel as well. Then Nicholas Snyder coming down a lap after him. He's got a gap to that number 5 ride as well. It's a decent little gap right here, about 3 seconds, I want to say, here potentially between Daniel Dow and that number 5 ride, close to it, close to 3 seconds here. So that's a big gap that could be a play for the race win there between the two blue trucks there on the screen between Daniel Dow and Nicholas Snyder, as Snyder does have to make some passes here as well and potentially may have to try to save a little bit of fuel here early on in this run, as he was cutting it very, very close there, running on to a 24 lap run, hoping to make it to the end. But if he's running that truck hard, he may only be able to make it 23, 22 laps, so he may have to try to take it a little easier here. Now we do see more drivers heading down pit side. Kevin Winker, Brandon DeMing, Brian Chu, all headed down pit road themselves. So all these different strategies, all these drivers' calculators going to work, putting in the work here, as we do see Winker get into his pit box. He's in there. I thought he was getting a little close with that right rear tire, almost right on the line right there, but on the line is still in the pit box. So good timing, good pit stop here. No speeding down pit road, and looks like the 42 is going to make 3 good, clean pit stops here this evening. Now we do see Nathan Nixon, our race leader, now headed down pit road as well. So Nixon headed down pit side, and that's going to give the lead back to this number 16, Nick Gardner. Well, Gardner was down pit road on lap 48, quite a few laps before all these drivers heading down pit road right now. So it's just going to continue to get more and more interesting as these laps continue to click down. With only 16 more laps left to go, it's really anybody's game here. It could be any one of these strategies that will end up working out, that will end up paying off and putting them potentially into victory lane. Now, we have seen a lot of these drivers come down pit road and get tires and everything else. Now, for Nick Gardner, if he tries to run this towards lap number 70, lap number 73, before having to come down pit road, which would be his 24 lap gap, would be around lap 72 coming down pit side, means he's going to have about 4 laps with fresh tires, which I'm not sure if that's going to make a huge gain, if he's really going to gain a ton of spots with the fresher tires here. So he may want to come down a little bit earlier if he knows he's not going to make it there to that start-finish line. If he knows he's not going to make it on fuel, he may want to come down a few laps earlier to see if he can use his fresher tires to take advantage of all these other cats coming down pit road. As they're down pit side now, lap 58, lap 59. If he comes down pit road around lap 65, gives himself 10 laps of the freshest tires on the racetrack, maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll put him into a position to move forward and maybe pick up a win or a couple extra spots here to better his position on the afternoon. And then if you're a driver like Jacob Grube, who's trying to stretch it here on fuel, we see him running slower and slower lap times compared to a lot of these other drivers. And even if they have better tires or anything else, he's still running, equally the same laps, maybe a little bit slower. We'll have to wait and see if that's just him trying to save fuel, him trying to make it to the end here, see if he can gain that extra lap or two back to be able to work himself potentially into victory lane here on this fuel strategy. As, man, I don't know if it's going to work out or not. He does still have about 15 seconds between himself and Daniel Dow. Dow is that first driver to come down pit road and use that third pit stop to his advantage. Now Dow's got to go a long distance here, as you see Nathan Nixon back there. He came down on lap 59, so quite a bit fresher tires, a lot more extra fuel in that truck, where he's not really worried about fuel consumption or anything else here. He can run his truck as hard as possible here right down to the very end. Same with Nicholas Snyder. Actually, Snyder can't either. Snyder's in a very vicarious situation himself in that 5 ride, as he's got Kevin Winker all over him here. Winker trying to get around this 5 ride, trying to work himself up and into position number 8 on the speedways. Here we go. We do see Jason LePan now coming down pit side. Bobby Blair down pit road. Nick Gardner, though, still staying out there. And with Jacob Grube going to stay out as well. So, oh man, this is going to be wild. This is going to be really fun to watch here at the end, chat. I don't know if it's going to work out, if it's going to happen here. I think Jacob Grube has set himself up perfectly to be that one driver to maybe give an attempt. Now, we've seen this 18 right already pick up multiple wins here on the season, so he's gained a lot of points. He's got a big points, gap here in the playoffs, knowing that he can use it to his advantage to maybe take a gamble here. Maybe take that gamble, maybe try to pick up another win here and play this strategy game here this afternoon by staying out as long as possible, maybe trying to wait and see if he can, maybe pick up a win here on this fuel strategy game. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. He's running slower lap times even still than what Nick Gardner, our race leader, is. Came down pit road one lap after Gardner, and he's running slower lap times than the 18 ride. So I think the 18 knows he can't really make it on fuel here, or he's trying to save and not save even as much as what Jacob Grube is. Grube last time was a 2.5 seconds slower than that 16. So that is very, very interesting to watch. That's going to be very wild to see how this plays out, who picks up the win here this afternoon. As we're going to jump into a very, very quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. I'm going to get a quick drink into me chat, and then we're going to be back here for our closing laps of the afternoon. A quick Peacemaker Gaming crank it up right there as we're getting closer and closer to our checkered flag. This race coming to a close in a quick hurry here this afternoon. Is 10 more laps left to go here in this one, ladies and gentlemen. 10 more laps left for these drivers to duke it out. Now, the big one that I'd be looking at here is Jacob Grube out there on the racetrack running this different strategy, trying to see if he can make it on fuel. It could be all for naught, as the drivers that are trying to chase him down that are good on fuel are only about 4 seconds back here behind him. So that's a 4-second gap now between Nathan Nixon and that 18 right of Jacob Grube. Now, Nick Garner does have a 20-second gap here between himself and our second place driver. 23 seconds now between himself and Nathan Nixon, as Nixon is chasing down this 18 right in a quick hurry. So the strategy game of maybe trying to stay out there and not having to make another trip down pit side, I don't know. He's going to have to try to hold these guys off. He's going to have to start putting that foot to the floor. He's trying to save that fuel, trying to make sure that he's good enough on gas before he has to really start to use the fuel up here, before he has to start putting that foot into the throttle and start rolling around the racetrack to really try to stay in front of these drivers. But that time is starting to run out, as his opportunity here maybe starting to dwindle, as we do see Nick Gardner come down pit road here. So Gardner down pit road in with 8 laps left to go here in this race, but Jacob Grube is going to take that race lead over. So Grube now out in front, only a second now between himself and our second place driver, Nathan Nixon. Nixon is good on fuel, came down pit road on lap 59, 10 laps prior to this 18 ride. So 10 laps after the 18 ride, so that gives him 10 lap better tires as well, so he can close this gap in a quick hurry. And I think this strategy for Jacob Grube, I think it's starting to run out, chat. I don't know. I got faith in him. But I don't know. They're running him down in a quick hurry here. And unfortunately, all the strategy in the world and everything else, I'm not sure if it's going to hold off this 33 ride of Nathan Nixon. Now, he may be able to keep that gap between himself and Daniel Dow and Kevin Winker maybe to potentially put himself into victory, into a podium run. But I don't think there's any chance that the 18 ride either A, makes it on fuel without having to come down pit side, or B, can hold this 33 off. As there we go, you see that 33 of Nathan Nixon working that inside groove. He is going to make that pass, and he is going to take this race lead back away. So Nathan Nixon now out in front, leading the way here late in the race. Jacob Grube back into position number 2 here on the Speedway. So Grube trying to hang on to maybe a podium run, has 2.5 seconds now between himself and Kevin Winker. Winker, another one of those drivers that's good on fuel, came down pit road on lap 58. He can make it to the end here. He doesn't have to worry about fuel. The 2 right of Daniel Dow, who is down pit road on lap 52. He is currently now in that 4th position, and he's got a bit of a gap back to our 5th place driver, Brandon DeMing. And then a little farther back, you do see Nicholas Snyder here in that 5 ride. A little farther back, you do see the 75 of Bobby Blair there in 7th, Jason LePan in 8th. Ryan Chu back in 9th, and Nick Gardner, our top 10 here on the Speedway. Now, Gardner does have the best tires here on the racetrack. Came down pit road on lap 67, so as he's rolling back out onto the Speedway after making that pit stop, he can start laying down some really fast lap times here. Unfortunately, he's 22 seconds from our race leader, and I don't think he's going to have enough time to make up 22 seconds out there on the racetrack. Only 6 laps left to go. 5 more this next time by the start-finish line. He's going to have to make up 2-3 seconds a lap and pass a lot of cars to try to catch up to this 33 ride. But you do see Grube trying to hang on to position number 2 here, kind of holding that gap a little bit between himself and the number 42 of Kevin Winker, but Winker is chasing him down, so Winker could be driving himself into a solid top 3, top 2 run here on the evening. Down back there in 4th, Brandon Ming there in 5th. We'll keep an eye on some of these other drivers that came down pit road a little later. We do see Bobby Blair. He was down pit road on lap 62. He's the driver closest to the front of the field, with the fresher tires here on lap 62. Him and Jason LePan came down pit side, so they're running quite a bit quicker lap times than the drivers up there in front of them. But right now, Nick Gardner is the fastest truck consecutively on the Speedway, so I'll have to keep an eye on the 16. He's already around Brian Chu for that 10th, or for the 9th position. So move Brian Chu back there into the 10th spot. We do see Brett Summers, Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Austin Gustafson, Ryan Peterson, Jonathan Herbert. Our top 15 here on the Speedway is our top 15 still on the lead lap. That's our race leader here behind that 87. Ryan Herbert was able to get himself back onto the lead lap with the fresher tires. So we'll see if he can keep himself there and keep himself on the lead lap. Dennis Steele, first driver, 1 lap down. Same with Jeremy Lucy, Kyle Van Tassel, Chris Gilbert, unfortunately off the racetrack. Neil Lapidus out there in 20th, and Michael Madden, Sean Jensick, and Gregory Turner all down off the Speedway as well. Is Nathan Nixon, though, a 1.4 second gap between himself and Jacob Grube. Grube hanging on to position number 2 as these laps continue to count down. Now the big question will be for the 18 ride. Not only can he try to hold on and hold off this 42 of Kevin Winker in the closing laps as we have 3 more laps left to go, but can he make it on fuel? Can the strategy that he's been trying to run, this extra long bit of a fuel mileage game that the 18 has been trying to work here, can it play out for him? Can he save enough fuel on this final run to make it to the checkered flag before running out of gasolina out there on the Speedway? It's going to be very tight for him. I think it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not he can make it to the end or not. And if he can still hang on to position number 2, he may lose second here in a quick hurry. As there you go, you do see Kevin Winker reel into his back bumper in a quick hurry. Dangle down a little farther back here. Dow, he didn't come down pit road only 3 laps before Jacob Grube, so they're running virtually identical lap times out there on the speedway. So he's not really catching this 18 ride. So as Grube has fell back to that 3rd position, he's played his cards right. Maybe leapfrogging 3, 4, 5 drivers with this different strategy may be enough to put himself into a podium run, earn himself those extra points here on the speedway, but it's all down to Nathan Nixon and Kevin Winker right now, and over 2 seconds here between Nixon and Kevin Winker there on the racetrack. Now a little farther back there in 4th with Group there in 3rd, and then we see Brandon Deming, Nick Gardner now in that 16 ride. He was one of the last drivers down pit road on lap number 67, so he's got the freshest tires here on the speedway. But as he came back onto the racetrack with about 7 laps left to go, he had about a 22-second gap. Now he's closed that up about 8 seconds, but still about 14 seconds back of our race leader. As there you go, Jacob Grube, he cannot make it. Oh, brother, I thought he was going to be able to try, and he did, but unfortunately, about a lap short, and he's going to have to make his way down pit side as the white flag has been displayed. So Kevin Winker trying to hunt down our race leader, Nathan Nixon, as Nixon with 1 more lap around here. 2.38 seconds difference here between himself and Kevin Winker as they head down the back straightaway for the final time here this afternoon. Dangle down now into 3rd. He's got a pretty good gap between himself and Brandon Deming. Nick Gardner now into that 5th position. Unfortunately, he is about 6 seconds back of the 77 ride here for a top 4 run as Nathan Nixon down out of 3 and into quarter number 4 for the final time here this afternoon. Nathan Nixon will head down the Indianapolis Motor Speedway front straightaway for the final time here this afternoon as he'll see that checkered flag fly and he will kiss the bricks here in Indy. Nathan Nixon picking up the win in the Michaels Warrior Project Truck Series, powered by HCK Beagles, as the sparkle and shine anything EC. The Vestas number 33 ride of Nathan Nixon will pick up the win here in one of NASCAR's oldest and most historic race tracks in America. Give it up here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Nathan Nixon as he's able to get the win here in this one. Kevin Winker there in 2nd. Going to congratulate his Revved Racing teammate as it's a Revved Racing 1, 2, and 3 here on the evening as Daniel Dow will come home in that 3rd spot on the speedway as well. Very, very good run, very strong performance here all day long by Nathan Nixon, Kevin Winker, and Daniel Dow, and they're going to come home 1, 2, and 3 as they'll pull up onto the front straightaway. Brandon Deming coming home in 4th, going to head down pit side. Same with the 16 ride of Nick Gardner coming home there in the 5th spot. Nicholas Snyder, Bobby Blair, Jason LePan, Brian Chu, Brett Summers, our top 10 here on the speedway. Nathaniel Ostrowiecki back in 11th, and Jacob Grube, his strategy unfortunately has him finish in the 12th position. Austin Gustafson back in 13th, Ryan Peterson in 14th, and Jonathan Herbert, the first car, 1 lap down in that 15th position. Jeremy Lucy, Dennis Steele, Kyle Van Tassel, Chris Gilbert, Neil Lapidus, Michael Madden, Sean Jensick, and Gregory Turner round out our field here this afternoon. But it's all Nathan Nixon in the Revved Racing crew. 1, 2, and 3 here on the evening, with Nixon picking up the win here in this one. The team celebrating here on the front straightaway as they're going to get ready to kiss the bricks here at the beautiful Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Man, what a run, what a drive. Give it up here for the Revved Racing crew, and give it up for the 33 ride of Nathan Nixon, who picks up the win here in this one. Man, what a run and what a drive there for the number 33. We'll get ready to pull our top drivers into the our top 3 up into the Discord for post-race interviews. As Tower Operator says, good race. Thanks, guys. Yeah, great racing, great runs out there on the Speedway. 0 caution flags, ladies and gentlemen. 0 caution flags. We ran 75 laps of non-stop green flag racing. Took about an hour and 11 minutes. From the drop of the green flag down to the checkered flag here this afternoon, almost an hour and 12 minutes. Let's be honest there, about an hour and 11:35. So an hour and 11 minutes here this afternoon to go green to checkered. We saw drivers come down 3-4 times here during the green flag runs, having those green flag pit stops. And at the end of the day, as the smoke settles here on the front straightaway, it's Nathan Nixon who puts himself up and into victory lane. Let's pull Nathan up here into the broadcast booth for his post-race interview. Let's see if we can get him up here real quick. Let me quickly find him in here. Where is he at? There he is, I think. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for Nathan Nixon as we'll pull him up into the broadcast booth. Hey, Nathan, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
Yes, sir.
Nathan, man, what a run, what a drive here in this one as you're able to put yourself up and into victory lane, man, after a very hard-fought long day here at the Speedway. 0 caution flags, multiple trips down pit road here during the green flag conditions, man. Take us back through this one and take us back through your Indy experience and how pumped you are to be able to pick up a win at such a historic racetrack.
Oh, man, it's been a busy last month or so, and I did not think I'd be coming up here and winning this thing for sure, but it's one of my favorite tracks. I'd done well in the Xfinity car, I think it was last season, but this was a blast. I definitely don't think I had the fastest truck, but I learned a lot that first run, and I thought I could give Gilbert a run if he was up there, and then I think he had a computer issue, is what he was just saying. So I'll take it. I just spent the week in New York and got back yesterday, and didn't know what day it was, what time it was, and so I was happy to be back here, happy to be back racing and get the W, and more importantly, a revved 1-2-3, which is awesome.
Definitely always awesome when you can celebrate and have your team up here on the podium celebrating together after a hard-fought 75 laps here on the Speedway. Now take us back through, your mind here with some of the different pit strategies that were going on out there on the Speedway. We saw a lot of different drivers trying different things and trying to, maybe even run it out to a 2-stop pit stop here. But we saw, probably three pit stops were going to make it, as we didn't see really anyone go over 25 laps. And after that first set of green flag pit stops, the only 2 drivers that were kind of close were Nick Gardner and the 18 ride of Jacob Grube, and now Grube was able to gain a lap back on the second run, so we need to run about 26 laps there, and I thought, I didn't think he was going to be able to make it. We saw him really back the pace up there and trying to save as much fuel as possible, but clearly coming down pit road on the white flag lap and giving up on that strategy. Obviously didn't have enough there to make it a whole nother trip around, but we're getting a little nervous there, after you came back down pit road for your third pit stop. You saw that gap that was kind of between you and the 18 ride, and kind of realizing that he's on that bit of a strategy to try to run this one to the checkered flag. We're getting a little nervous there, maybe that he can make it and that maybe he could beat you here tonight on a strategy game.
I was wondering, and to be honest, I hadn't even gotten to look at how far I had to close. I was just going to assume they were making it, and I knew the one person I was going to try and at least be in front of or race or be close to was Winker. And when he pit, because that's one thing, we're in the same chat, and like, no offense, I'm not going to tell you when I'm pitting. Like, yeah, I get it. So then I'm thinking, and I'm watching him his time, and I'm like, I should pit this lap. I think he's pitting this lap. And then I didn't for some reason. Sure enough, he pit. But it was a game between us, and then just either see if we could catch him, because we would have much better tires, or if they didn't make it, and they didn't make it. And when I saw Grube, and I think it was about the time I got close enough to Groob to see I was going to be able to pass him. Gardner pit. So it was on from there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just really a luck. I knew when I had to pit, and then I knew when he had to pit, and it was a game, and I should have went with my gut, but it worked out.
Absolutely works out perfectly here for you, and this one works out for the whole team. These guys come home 1, 2, and 3, even with a little different strategy there out of the same camp. But as we saw, Daniel Dow kind of running a bit of a different strategy, coming in super early here on that final run, really breaking up that final run quite a bit there. And then obviously, 6, 7 laps later, we see you and Winker come down pit side, and everyone kind of on different varying pit strategies. Man, when I see all the different times that drivers were last down pit side, man, there's so many different numbers there, where if everyone trying to run different strategies, different ideas going through the calculators here this afternoon, trying to make up ground, trying to maybe leapfrog some drivers or have the best tires there late in the race to make up that ground here, and no one played it better than you and the Rev team here this afternoon.
Yes, sir. It's a good one to come back to, and a good one to help. I don't know if the playoffs are next week or if we got another race, but they're getting close, and I needed some help, so this is a good time.
Yeah, definitely some good timing for you, man. It's Nathan. You park it up here in Victory Lane at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive here this evening?
I'd like to thank my Rev teammates first and foremost. Love it every week. Hate when I have to miss it. And my wife letting me race, and yeah, just sparkle and shine, Mr. Sean Kozier, always there for us and revved, and I hope he gets back to racing here soon, and we'll add another one to our stable of winners.
Absolutely, brother. We look forward to seeing him back out there on the racetrack. We look forward to seeing you back out there as well, as next week is our final regular season races. We do head to New Atlanta before the playoffs get underway here, but definitely getting this big win, a big drive here, and trying to build that momentum up, trying to get hot here as our playoffs start to get underway in a couple weeks, and we look forward to seeing how it all plays out and see who our top 20 are. Obviously, we kind of have a general idea. I don't normally tend to look at the points until the playoffs really get underway, as I'm sure you and Winker or Dow, all the Rev Racing guys for the most part are sitting pretty here going into the playoffs in the points wise, and I know you guys are going to be a threat each and every one of those weeks in every one of the rounds here for our championship this year.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to battling it out with them and Madden and Jensic when they get back from whatever their life has going on. So it'll be a fun battle, hopefully, between us, but we'll see.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Nathan, congrats on the win, congrats on the great race, and we can't wait to see you back out there at New Atlanta next week.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll see you there.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, giving up there for our race winner, Nathan Nixon, as Nixon picks up the win here in this one. A great run and a great drive there for him as we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher. It's K-Dub, Kevin Winker. Winker coming home here in that second spot. Let's pull him up into the broadcast booth. Hey, Kevin, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Kev, man, another great run, another great race here for you at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Take us back through this one, man. A very exciting one. A lot of different pitch strategies, a lot of different mind games having to be played here this afternoon after 75 laps of green flag racing. No caution flags here in our feature event, which really, spice things up here a little bit more. Seeing these fuel strategies really run their course and everyone trying to take some different gambles and different strategies to victory lane here tonight. And you were a couple seconds away from doing it, but Rev Racing 1, 2, and 3 here this afternoon. It's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I actually had a league race last night at Indy, which I won, so I was hoping that would translate over tonight, but track temp was just way hotter than last night, so I kind of struggled there in the first stint. I fell back to, I think, 9th or 10th, and truck was just plowing tight, and I couldn't do anything, so I tried to get off strategy and pitted early there on lap 20 because I knew some guys were going to try to make it on 2 stops, but I didn't think that would work, so I decided to split it into thirds. So then I pitted on 20, And then I seen how much of the undercut made time up on Nixon and Schneider there. So then I was doing the math in my head. Well, if I can split the last 55 laps kind of in thirds, maybe then I can get the lead and run away with it. So I pitted there at like 37, and then I kept track of how many laps it caught or took Nixon to catch me and pass me, and then I was gonna kind of go back, run the race backwards and make my last pit stop there. But I pitted and then he pitted the next lap that to get around me. So the advantage I would have had wasn't there. So props to him though. I mean, he was watching me. It was all a strategy game. Like he said in the chat, I'm not going to tell him when I'm pitting for teammates. We're going for the win. So it's all all hard racing, all hard fun there. So yeah, it's definitely a strategy race tonight. I know if caution when it came out, that would have really shaken things up. So happy that went flag to flag, and congratulations to Nixon on the win, and Rev on 1, 2, 3 for tonight.
Absolutely, definitely a late race caution flag could have really mixed things up here. I mean, it made things that much more interesting, especially with, the tire strategies and everything else. And I do believe you guys had, 3 sets of tires down on pit wall, so a lot of you guys would have been already out of the extra tires here at the Speedway, and it would have been down to who's got the best tires really late in this race.
Yeah, it kind of actually happened last night in my race. I got off strategy there too, and on fuel mileage, and then I pitted. I had to pit. I had 10 laps. Then a caution came out, and I only had about 3 laps of my tires. All the leaders pitted, and I cycled right to the front and ran with the lead. So yeah, last night yellow worked out, but then it wouldn't have worked out. So I'm glad we got a yellow last night, not tonight. But yeah, it was a fun race. Strategy wise, it's always fun to do that instead of getting lucky, I guess. So it's always a blast running with this league, and another good strong run for the 42 machine. I know last week we were sitting pretty good till we had some issues on pit road with another truck, but you'll have that. Got one more race to the playoffs, New Atlanta next week. We're locked into the chase, so next week just gonna go out and have some fun and try to get up some more points, and then we'll start the playoffs, and hopefully we can make it all the way to the final 5.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we look forward to seeing you back out there on the Speedway next week. But, Kev, who would you like to thank here tonight for another great run and another great performance here on the Speedway?
As always, I want to thank Bruce Muehlberger Custom Homes for coming aboard and sponsoring me in all my leagues. And like I said, last night I got the win, tonight I got second, so he should be pretty happy with parking the number 42 on the podium 2 nights in a row. So shout out to him. Second, all Winker Nation, my girlfriend Shauna, Brandon, Justin, Brett, Nicole, Dylan, Gordon, Travis, all them guys that come on and and watch. Can't thank them enough. All the boys over at Rev'd, obviously it was worked well tonight, together, even though we had different strategies, it all worked out top 3. Madden and Jensic, they had served penalties, so I think they just called it quits early, which I wouldn't blame them, especially with no cautions, you ain't gonna make that up. So, but yeah, shout out to those guys every week putting the work. It'll be fun, all 5 of us in the playoffs. So we'll see what we can do. And then Nate Cogdale for the paint at Sonic Graphic Design. If you need paint, stickers, designs, anything like that, you can check them out at Sonic Graphic Designs. All the series sponsors: Michael's Warrior Projects, Track Dogs Racing, KR Gutters, Ridge Powersports. Can't thank them enough for coming on board this season, and all the admins that put this on. I know tonight was pretty easy with no caution, so we shouldn't have too much to look at. But probably won't be the case next week. Next week's probably wild. But yeah, and then shout out to you for the broadcast. As always, we appreciate it, and you put on a hell of a show. So keep up the good work, man.
Absolutely, I appreciate that, brother. And I appreciate you guys putting on great shows for us each and every one of these races, man. Always fun, always exciting, and always a good time. Be up here in the broadcast booth or be one of the fans of the stands cheering you guys on here lap after lap on the Speedway. Kev, congrats on the great run. Congrats on the second place finish, and we can't wait to see you back out there next Tuesday at New Atlanta.
Sounds good, man. Have a good night. Thank you.
You too. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for K-Dub, Kevin Winker, picking up that second place finish. A great run and a great drive there for the 42 machine as he comes home in that second spot. We'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the number 2 ride of Daniel Dow. Dow coming home in that second spot here on the Speedway. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth for his post-race interview. Hey, Daniel, it's Aaron up here on the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir. What's happening there?
Not much, Daniel, man. A good run, a solid performance from you here all evening long. We saw you picking up a lot of ground early in this race. We saw obviously a lot of different pitch strategies, a lot of different game plans here, and you were one of the first drivers really to come down pit road and make that third and final pit stop here this afternoon. Were you kind of regretting that? We saw you come down around lap 42, lap 43, then you were, 10 laps later came back down pit road. You wish you maybe would have extended that a little bit more, maybe come down around 55 or 56, see if you can kind of keep that extra little bit of fresher tires on your car here late in this race.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like I was probably the fourth place car. Hated it for Nick. He got off a little pit sequence there, but he deserved to be in the top three. I really should have finished fourth at best. But yeah, I just come down early just to try to jump a few folks and just hope and pray I could hold them off, and I just couldn't. It was just I made the move to go, like you said, probably 5 to 7 laps early, and it really hurt me there at the end.
Absolutely. You're still able to come home in position number 3. Still the hard charger here on the afternoon, picking up 10 spots from where you started here this evening. And you're able to finish off a 1-2-3 finish here for the Rev Racing team as well.
That was great seeing all three of us get the top 3 there. Nixon, he was definitely the quickest of us 3 all night long, and he tried to give us a couple pointers and really helped some. It really helped me early. I didn't qualify well. I didn't understand why I was so bad at qualifying. I have to go back and kind of look at my lap and see what I did wrong there, but I definitely made some kind of mistake, and just wish I could have started up front and been up there a little bit better, a little bit closer all night instead of having to work my way up there and then have a little bit more used up tire than once I got there.
Absolutely. What could have been there, but still a great run and a great drive here for you, Daniel. Who would you like to thank for another solid performance and solid drive here this afternoon from that toot ride?
Definitely Sparkle and Shine, our sponsor. He definitely takes care of us here at Rev'd, and Sean Kozier, he'll be back on the track with us hopefully come next season. He's getting new business up and running, and just missing him out there with us. And like I said, just thank all my Rev teammates. We all really work well together, and just hats off to them for just really helping get me up to speed this week, because I really was struggling with this track.
Absolutely. You're struggling, but you're able to finish it off here. A great run, a great drive out of that 2 machine here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Daniel, congrats on the 3rd place run. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next week from New Atlanta for our regular season finale here before the playoffs get underway. And we can't wait to see you guys out there battling here, all the Rev Racing guys and everybody else battling here for our championship here this season.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it. We're gonna have some exciting races coming up here, and like I said, may the best man win. I think it's gonna be a real good battle here. We got a lot of good guys in this league, and appreciate all you do for us, Aaron, and appreciate the league. Gives us a place to run.
Absolutely, brother. Daniel, congrats on the great finish. Congrats on the great run, and we'll see you back out here next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, giving up there for our 3rd place finisher, Daniel Dow. Dow coming home there in position number 3. A great run and a great drive there for the 2 ride. Unfortunately, that is going to do it for us here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here all evening long. A lot of great racing, a lot of great battles out there on the Speedway. But we are going to call it there on that marker. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys back in here. We'll be back live again tomorrow for our doubleheader as we have the Dirt Mini Stocks in action at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, and then we go back to the NASCAR Cup Series tomorrow night from Martinsville Speedway, which is going to be a exhilarating, crazy race there at Martinsville, and it's going to be a lot of fun as we'll have 2 races tomorrow evening, and then we'll be back in on every single day of the week, as we're usually always up here. We were off on Monday. It felt very, very weird having a day off again, but we took full advantage of that and enjoyed a nice day off yesterday. But we're ready to keep on rolling, keep on striving here, and keep on producing some great content for all the fans in the stands here in this one. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out for now, babe. Peace out for now, ladies and gentlemen.
in our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight. Peacemakers gaming life so bright. Revving it up, feel the pace. Speed homes in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our only place. Thrill the place. Thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our only place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. In this high octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights the engine scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam. Racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might. Push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight. Racing on with all our might.